In our modern day schools, most students are not motivated to pursue the courses which they learn with much passion. There seems to be a wave of following what is trendy and looking at the things they hear from the social world and adapting to them. Back in the day, a student's passion was his books and was pleasing their teacher and doing their best to make sure they had all their grades correct and up to point. But these days, we've noticed that these students don't really care much about how they do and how they perform in the exam compared to back in the days. We do remember how there were students who would burn the midnight candle just to make sure a class test was not failed. But these days, only a few students still burn the midnight candle, and some don't even know what it means to do so. There were times in the past when we were given a lot of homework from different teachers. The homework was so much, we had no time to play when we got home. And we had to make sure we came back to school with those homeworks completed. And so, there was no time for playing or fooling around. But today, the students are not given that much homework to do. And those that are given are not even too serious about these homeworks, not to even talk about completing them. But what are the ways we can motivate students today to learn like we expect them to? How do we contribute to these students who have not seen the light in following seriousness with schoolwork? Remember that they cannot be blamed, for they were born in a world of technology, social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and what have you. But for those of us who were born in the 80s and the 90s, we knew no such things. Today, students are not really passionate about making an A in all their subjects. They just want to pass, and as long as they pass and have a good mark, they are okay. But when we look at the students that were in the 80s and the 90s, it was their aim to make 100% and to score grade A in all the subjects. There are different ways to motivate students, and as we look into our modern world today, we can still find place to push these students to do their best with schoolwork. Now that they have these gadgets and technology at their fingertips, parents are advised to find beautiful ways of sending these type of learnable materials to them, sending them PDFs of questions and answers for them to look through whilst they are on their phone chatting and doing other things they do during their free times. Because the phone is handy and they are always around their phones, it will be one way to get them to look into some material that will gear them forward into success in the near future. Another way is to find good rewards to be given to those students who perform well and who are able to make a certain mark which the parents will gauge as a good mark. Instead of complaining that the students are not too good, We could make them promises of buying them this or that if they are able to clock at least 70% in an exam. When we do it this way, these students will feel more geared towards doing things that will make them learn their books and study like they should. Though they may not be doing it necessarily for the marks, but for the gift they are expecting to receive, it will still do the job and get them happy at the same time. Another way to motivate students is to get them joyful and happy about what they do. When a student is learning a subject that he's not interested in, it is hard for him to understand. And when a student is not too delighted in something which he does not see a future in, it will be hard for the student to pay much attention to it. So let's look at ways to make them feel good about these subjects that they plan on furthering in the future. We could continue to echo words of sentiment and the big profits and packages they are going to make in the future if they pursue such subjects and such courses to a full degree. When we let the pupils and students know, for example, that they could be making this amount of money from medicine or from a certain course, they would see the need to follow it up, and there will be that interest that will be gingered inside of them. There are ways which some students have explained are not too nice to them and have contributed to the reasons why they are not interested in learning certain materials. One of the students explained that she had a parent who was always saying bad things about her results, no matter how she tried. And the parent always called her a knucklehead and other terms to show that she wasn't that good, but she was dumb. According to her, hearing those words from her parent made her feel bad about herself and worthless. Because of this, she told us that there's no drive in her to really learn something because she feels like a knucklehead and a dumb person. She expressed her feelings about the discomfort and the unlikable nature of her parents towards her when they realize she's not doing well in an exam, in a test, or in a subject on the whole. Now, though it is good for parents to show their children that by not doing well it will get them unhappy, there should be a way for them to check it so that it does not become a very horrible experience for the students. Remember that you also play a part in motivating the child to become what he or she would be in the future. One thing we noticed when speaking to that particular female student was that she spoke very good English and her diction was almost perfect. So though she may be struggling in that area of mathematics, she was very good in English. But it would take someone to give her the go ahead by saying her English was good for her to continue to pursue it and do her best around it. I am sure if her parents have been given applause and saying good things about her English, that girl would have felt otherwise about herself. Remember that as parents, you have a duty to guide your child, and it's not always that you have to use a hard hand to do this work. Though we are not encouraging pampering of children, there are ways you could coach your child by being extra nice, extra caring, and taking the next step in making the child feel like there's a vision and a dream at the end of the subject which she or he is learning at the particular moment. When you make the child to feel like there's an end goal which he is pursuing with that subject that is being learned, he will not feel the need to throw it away, neither will he be discouraged even if he does not do well. Instead, when he notices that he is going behind and his marks are not too good in that subject, he will do his best to match up again and do better than he did, because he would always remember your words to him about the great future that is awaiting him because of that course he is pursuing. You have to be very intentional about some of these things if you are a parent and if you are willing for your child to be successful. Let the child feel it is heartfelt, and let it come from within you in such a manner that the child himself will feel the need to go hard on that subject no matter what. There are many ways to motivate your child and to motivate students. For example, in the classroom, after answering a very good question, the teacher would ask the other pupils to clap for that particular student who got the answer. Such methods could also be employed at home, where when you hear your child make a good declaration or say something that is very brilliant, you ask the rest in the house to applaud her, or if you can, you yourself, you applaud her on your own. By doing this, you are feeding the child's brain with the idea that her efforts are not a waste, but actually are bringing the joy that comes and is associated with the applause. When the child notices that there's glory at the end of every good question she answers, and there's glory also at the end of every subject which she's doing well at, she would make sure to do her best to receive that glory again and again and again. But compromising on such things and neglecting the feelings and the emotional well-being of your student or your child would only come back at you when the child shows no interest at all and will not be willing to do a thing about changing the bad marks that were received after an exam. Let us not forget that these children, who are also students, are not going to be students forever. They are going to grow into adults, and they are going to be the ones who are going to be the future doctors, engineers, presidents, and what have you. When we coach them in such a way that it helps them, we will not have to worry about who will take care of us in our future and who is going to do the things that we will not be able to do at that time because of old age and because of the fact that we will not be always the ones doing certain things we are doing today. Do your best to motivate your child. And if you're a student, and if you're a teacher, do your best to motivate your students so that they have that inner zeal to continue learning hard and following their courses with agility. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.